Hey guys, Cody with CJC Off-Road. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the Carli Suspension Backcountry system for the Ford Super Duty trucks. Now, some of you might recognize this truck from our previous Carli SPEC commuter video that we did, kind of showing you guys what this new Carli SPEC shock line is all about. We've taken that truck and we've actually stepped it up to the backcountry shock package. With that change, we also put on the Carli Suspension full progressive spring pack in the rear. The reason we didn't do that with the commuter system is because it does not quite have the control and damping required for that soft release spring. So that's why the commuter system is excellent for those of you who are just running the stock rear springs or even the out-of-pack leaf spring. Now, this truck is actually a truck that spends every day commuting. If you've called in and you've talked to James on our phone lines, this is actually his personal truck. So it commutes, it tows a off-road toy to the desert, goes to the mountains for mountain biking. This is his do-it-all vehicle. Kind of the same thing that we go through with all of our vehicles here. We really want to build the ultimate machine that can kind of check all of these boxes and still ride extremely comfortable while doing it. So again, if you're not familiar with this line of products, this is the Carli Suspension leveling backcountry system. So what that backcountry means is that is a label for the shock package, which is going to be a Reservoir 2.0 shock package. So if you are looking at Carli Suspension, you see backcountry, that is all that means. Now this is going to be the 2.5, 3.5 system. For those of you who again not familiar, the 2.5, 3.5 does not mean we include two different heights of front coils or anything like that. It essentially means depending on the factory package of your truck, it'll either net you 2.5 inches of lift or 3.5 inches of lift. For those of you with the 17 to 19 trucks, it is very simple. This is going to be a 2.5 inch leveling system. For those of you with the 20 and up trucks, it gets a little more convoluted depending on if you have the trimmer package, what size your rear block is, things like that. So depending on the package, it might be 2.5 inch or it might be 3.5 inches. This truck in particular actually is a 22 and it came with the smaller 2-inch rear block from the factory. And that is why we actually had to put a factory 350 block, which we sell, or the block off of a tremor, which is an option on a lot of the kits on our webpage. That actually is what allowed this truck to sit level. Now, when he switched these shocks over to the backcountry shock package, he opted for the rear leaf springs. That's gonna match that front coil height and give you an extremely soft ride in the rear. So for those of you who aren't hitting the payload capacities of these trucks or really doing hauling every day, I'd really give a strong look at these full progressive spring packs. Now, diving into exactly what these backcountry shocks are, these are a Carli SPEC Reservoir 2.0 shock. So essentially, Carli went back to the drawing board when they had supplier issues with their previous backcountry line, and they said, how do we build a shock from the ground up to do everything we wanted to do, hit the price point that we want, etc. That is how we landed on this system. It is a 2.0 shock with a 2.0 diameter reservoir. Again, 2.0 is just referencing the diameter of the shock, not the lift height. And this shock package works extremely well in all situations. I would say across the whole Carli Suspension product line, backcountry is probably the top contender for the most popular shock package overall. And that is because it works extremely well on road. Again, this truck commutes. However, when you do want to have a little bit of fun on the weekend, need to rescue your buddy in a Jeep, etc., this system is going to work extremely well and stay extremely composed. So if you're cross-shopping it with some of the other systems on the market, say the Carli Commuter, a different shock package from a completely different company, not only are you gonna have all the benefits of the Carli Suspension system, heavier duty track bar, softer riding springs, things like that, the shock system with the reservoir allows them to get a little bit more tuning out of the system, providing a more composed ride on and off the highway. So it's, not only is it gonna ride extremely well on road, but when you do hit those hunting roads, lease roads, the fire roads going into your campsite, things like that, the truck at a higher rate of speed is going to be able to maintain its composure, so therefore you're literally just able to drive faster on those rougher roads. Now, if this is a video you just stumbled upon and you really aren't even aware of what Carli Suspension does or what they offer, you're going to be looking at this kit and say, hey, maybe this costs a little bit more than this kit I saw on Amazon, this big box retailer, things like that. Why am I spending more? There's actually a ton of reasons, and we actually have complete videos dedicated to that, but just off the top, off the cuff, you're not going to find a Reservoir 2.0 shock that's been custom built ground up to match the front end of your truck. So this is a shock that was built for your Super Duty. All the lengths match. There's no grabbing a shock off the shelf and hoping it fits their lift kit like what a lot of brands do. It's purpose built, and even tuning. Almost every other manufacturer out there, if you were to truly look up their shock part number, kind of carry the same part number across all these different kits. They're using all different spring rates, things like that. Carli Suspension has very specific tuning to their systems, and even so, they even have a diesel and a gas tune. Now, a lot of manufacturers will still use the same shock but a different gas or diesel coil. That's to determine the lift height, but they still use the same shock. Now, granted, the difference in the front end weight is very different from these trucks. You're really gonna wanna get a custom tuned shock for that application, and that's what you're paying for, is the made in the USA, custom tuned Carli Backcountry system. Now, going back to the specifics of this individual truck, I'm sure you guys are gonna be curious. This is the 37 by 1250 R18 Nitto Recon Grappler. That is gonna be Nitto's latest introduction into the all-terrain yet aggressive looking tire market. So it's a very cool tire, has all the positive characteristics of an all-terrain tire, yet looks a little more aggressive as compared to a lot of different all-terrains that have been on the market previously. The wheel is gonna be a KMC GRS in the plus 18 offset. Going with that 37 1250 and that plus 18 offset is going to allow essentially no trimming if you're not doing any off-roading. If you are going to be articulating the truck, things like that, you're going to do a little bit of plastic trimming. However, this setup works really well. It's not going to throw rocks down the side of the truck. It's going to fit very cleanly. It doesn't have the crazy offset like some of the trucks you see online where it looks like you could walk on the tire next to the truck like Bigfoot from back in the day. They're just a very clean combination. Now, as far as what options went on this truck, if you are looking on our website, it's a Carli Backcountry system, you'll see options. James so far has opted for the torsion sway bar. We do have, again, a completely separate video on that, but that is a lighter rate sway bar, giving the front end a little bit more movement, resulting in a much smoother in-cab feel. Yet you can still tow with this setup. You can still drive on the highway, swerve the truck, and you're not gonna have any weird characteristics. So it's a really cool component when you're looking to soften up these trucks, even more so than what the kit offers. Now, so far we've gotten a lot of questions on which steering stabilizer to go with for the Nitto Recon Grapplers. As of now, this truck, perfectly straight alignment, everything's straight. We did notice a very, very faint right-hand drift. So that's where we opted for the Carli Suspension high mount stainless stabilizer. That is gonna be a factory replacement stainless stabilizer with an adjustable nitrogen pressure. I believe we actually dialed the pressure back in the stabilizer just a little bit to keep that truck tracking straight down the road. For a lighting package, James must be scared of the dark because he's got a lot of lights on this truck. First, we have the Baja Design's Linkable setup. That is going to be an extremely cool setup. Pretty much all of our trucks here run it. It uses the Baja Design Squadron XL, which I believe is a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch light. And there's going to be, I believe, 8 of them on the front of that truck. So that light bar alone is going to offer all the light that you can need. You'll also notice that he went with the Morimoto headlights as well as a Baja Design Squadron fog light kit. Therefore, when he is pulling off the highway to have a little fun on the weekend or to go to camp when he's mountain biking, he will not miss a single turn. There's a ton of light on the front of this truck. You'll also notice in the rear, it does have the Baja Design's reverse kit. That is gonna allow you to park in dark campsites, things like that with full comfort. It's actually a really cool setup to run these even around town because when you are backing up, it helps illuminate that factory reverse camera, which we can all agree is a little bit lackluster. Well, if you are looking at the backcountry system, I hope this video has answered some questions. If I've still left you with some questions, feel free to comment down below, shoot us an email, or even give us a phone call. We'll be happy to help. If you are looking at getting the system on your truck, but you cannot find anyone local to you to install it, please give us a call. We'll either set you up with someone who is in your area that installs this stuff, or if you have your favorite automotive shop and they just don't have access to the Carli Suspension products, we're happy to get them set up as a retailer and get more quality parts out there to you guys and the public. If you do have any other questions, again, comment down below, let us know, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys soon.